But on this day, it was a dark and foggy night. What's poppin', K Squad? It's your girl, well, you know who it is. It's K Lee, coming with another video, day 6 of Vlogtober, Bosstober. And I'm just sitting here eating my candy corn candy. What y'all call them? Me and my mama have this debate all the time. I call them candy corn. She calls them corn candy. Which one is it? In today's video, I wanted to give you guys my very first story time. And with it being Halloween month, what better way than to start with a creepy story time? So, let's get into it. We're going to set the scene to about fall of 2009. I was a junior in college at my college university. But you know, every university has its own tales and myths, ghost stories, whatever you want to call them. From the time I became a freshman, there was a story. One of the oldest dorms on campus, which was a female dorm, there was rumors that it may have been haunted. The story was that the young lady was so depressed and things like that, she decided to take her own life, and she hung herself in the elevator, and they found her body. And sometimes the elevator would get stuck over the time, and you know, people would assume, oh, she's in the elevator. So we heard that story freshman, sophomore year. We may have told a few freshmen when they came as well. Never really thought much about it or anything like that. We just thought it was a myth, one of those urban legends that you hear of or something like that. But on this day, it was a dark and foggy night. I'm just kidding. It was definitely nighttime. It was one of those it was a fall break, matter of fact. Normally I would go home on the weekends when there was a break, but for this break I decided to stay on campus, and I had two of my best friends, and they were from a city that was a little bit further out than mine. I only stayed about an hour away from campus, but they stayed a little bit further out so that they wouldn't have been able to go home. So, well, they didn't really want to go home, so we all decided that we would stay on campus for fall break and just hang out and kick it and have movie night and, you know, all of that good jazz, whatever we do on the weekends. So this particular day, it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday. We had just got something to eat. So we had to catch a ride because we didn't have a car. We were broke college students. We didn't have a car, so we had to bum a ride with a friend, got us something to eat, got us a couple movies from the Red Box, came on back to campus. Now, two friends, they're sisters, Gina and Jasmine. Jasmine and I said we were going to watch the movies and, you know, kick it in, hang out in the dorm. Gina had a date that night, so that they were roommates, so she was getting ready in her room, and my roommate, she went home for the weekend. So Jasmine was in my room. We were cleaning up just a little bit, trying to get things together, trying to get my computer together. Sometimes it could have been slow. I had a desktop. I used to pack my desktop up every time it was time to go home in my little storage container. I didn't have a laptop at that time, so But yeah, the desktop was getting set up so that we can watch movies on the computer. Then next thing you know, we hear a scream, like screaming down the hall. So we run down the hall. It was about a couple rooms down. So we get in the room and Gina's covered up, had a towel over her chest and her pants. She had on pants, but she had no top on, and she was getting her makeup together, her makeup and hair before she put on her top. And she said, I saw some eyes in the vent. And the way that our dorm doors were made, there were vents at the bottom where you can always see like the feet passing by. It was the vents in the door. But she said she saw some eyes in the door. So we were like, So we stayed, we walked around, we looked down the halls, didn't see anything, because mostly everybody's gone home for the fall break. So we looking around, we didn't see nothing. So we just stayed in the room until she got dressed, so that she can go out on her date. So yeah, we went back to my room so that we can get ready for the movies and the food and things like that. And next thing you know, we hear like a knock, like a little knock on the door. So now we kind of creeped out, because our dorm doors, like the main entry doors, they do lock. You have to have card access to get in. So we're wondering, what's going on. We look out, there's nobody. So at this point in time, I'm getting ready. I keep a bat with me all times. Betty go with me everywhere I go. So Betty was in school with me. So I'm like, okay, we just gonna, maybe we just tripping. Maybe that's what it is. Then we see some eyes in the vents. And it seems like before we can open the door, because of course we're a little bit scared. Me and Jasmine are a little bit scared. So when we open the door, there's nobody. So at this point, we call campus police so that they can take a look around. So campus police came in and they knocked on every single door to check on everybody and make sure that they were good. Looked upstairs, because upstairs they have a little kitchen. We had a smaller kitchen downstairs, and we had a kitchen at the top that was a little bit bigger. And they checked everything. They did a general sweep. They didn't find anything. So we get back in the room. We lock all the doors. And the way that our bathrooms are made, my suite mates were gone. So there are locks on both sides of the doors. So I locked if my suite mate was coming back that day, she wasn't getting in the bathroom. She wasn't, because I locked the door, and then I went back in my room and locked the bathroom door from my end. So we're just in there. We kind of like, I don't even know if I want to watch any movies anymore at this point. So what's going on? So a couple hours passed by. We finally did get into one of the movies, and we were just snacking on some stuff. Gina ended up coming back from her date, and she was still a little shaken because of what had happened earlier. So she came in the room where we were so she can continue the girls' night with us. Next thing you know, we hear a knock again, like a little small tap, like, what's going on? So immediately we all go. We ready to go, like, who is it? So we open the door and we just seen like a shadow like go around the corner of one of the hallways. So it didn't look like anything out of the ordinary. In fact, it looked like a small body. So we went tracing the hall. We ended up the stairs, and we just saw two little kids running around the dorm. And we were like, y'all know we called the police, right? They were like, we don't care. So they just walking around like they really just belong there. So we was like, how y'all even get in? And they was like, one of the exit doors was open. we was like, y'all need to get out of here. Y'all need to get out of here. So we called campus police again so they could check out the door. Maybe somebody had went out and left it kind of ajar, so it was kind of just swinging. And I guess they were just bored on their fall break, decided they want to go check and see if any doors are open. So they coming in running around the dorm while it's empty. So yeah, those were the eyes that we saw. But it was just so creepy because every time that we went to the door or went to look at the hall, nobody was there. Those kids were fast. They had to be really, really, really fast. But yeah, they were running around the dorm because they wanted experience. They wanted a college experience, I guess. But yeah, they saw me with my bed and they left and we was like, don't come back. We were still freaked out at that point, like, because it could have easily been another situation, somebody else coming in. So since my roommate was gone and the girls were still scared, Gina and Jazz were still scared too, we all decided that we were going to camp out in one room. And since my room had a TV, stocked fridge, computer access, chargers and all of that, they decided they wanted to come camp in my room. And because of we'll get into that another time about my roommate, because of how my roommate was, we didn't want to bother none of her stuff. So all three of us slept comfortably in a twin bed for the rest of the night. Like we felt good in the morning. Like we were two at the top and one at the bottom. We were back to back, making sure you looking this way, you got eyes that way, just in case. We had sticks. We had a stick and I had a bat, so we were ready. We had shoes. We were ready. We were ready if anybody else was coming. But yeah, that's the story of the eyes in the vent. There were eyes in the vent. But yeah, I thought about that the other day. Like, what were some really, like, some creepy moments that felt really, really creepy at the time? I laugh at them now. It was just so funny. You know, you freak yourself out when you're by yourself and things are quiet. So tell me about your scariest moment. If you had stayed on campus on a weekend when everybody was going home, what were some crazy things that happened to you on the weekend? Or, you know, if you were home alone, tell me about some of your creepy moments. Hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for tomorrow's day 7, and we're gonna get it in. Okay, squad, remember that I love you. And I want you to tell me how you bossing. How you boss out that creepy situation. All right, y'all. Bye.